If you're on the lookout for some ideas and inspiration for what new houseplants you could possibly add to your collection this spring, today I'm going to show you some really cool plants that I think you will really love. And I'm going to start with Maranta fascinator. This is a really common and easy to find plant, but it really is a really easy going one. And it's also quite fast growing too. And it's a really good alternative to calathea, because calathea can be a little bit difficult, but this one, it's a little bit different. It's got that beautiful kind of calathea look, but without the drama. And yeah, it does grow really fast too. It tends to be more of a trailing plant. It kind of grows outwards in clump form. I recently reset mine and I've basically rooted the cuttings and planted it again to start again this year. And I did that because I had spider mites, but I'm not worried at all because I know that this plant is really resilient, and I also know that this is kind of like the ideal time to be doing it too, because we're at the beginning of spring and I know how fast this plant grows. So yeah, it's just gonna go from strength to strength this year. And as well as being fast growing, this one's actually really tolerant of low light. I actually do have mine in a low light spot at the moment, and it's putting out new leaves and it's doing just fine. So yeah, this is a really versatile and hardy plant, and as I say, very easy to find as well. The next one is actually a new one to me as well, but I've been wanting one of these for a while and I decided to try a string of pearls. So maybe you've also been thinking about trying a string of pearls. I just think this plant is really cool. I call it the string of peas. And yeah, it's just a really fun plant. It's a trailing plant obviously, and it looks really cool hanging from a shelf. And yeah, it's one of those kind of shelf fillers that you kind of see these all over social media and home decor and stuff, and for good reason, because I think they're really pretty and they do look really interesting when you display them on a shelf. And I do kind of find them a little bit weird and wonderful too, so I quite like a weird and wonderful plant. I'm looking forward to growing this one this year. Maybe you'd also like to give it a go and we'll work it out together and see how it grows. Another plant I'm really enjoying growing this year is the Philodendron buono. And this one's starting to kind of spread its wings a bit. It does actually have a new leaf there, but I definitely highly recommend this one because it really is so easy to care for, and it just looks beautiful. I haven't yet got mine on a pole, but I will be getting it on a pole very soon. I'm just kind of waiting for the right moment. I want that new leaf to come out first. I don't want to kind of interrupt it whilst it's on its way out. As soon as that new leaf's out, I'm going to repot this one. But honestly, if you're looking for a philodendron that's a bit different and super easy to care for, this one is great. You can see how all the leaves come out just completely different, and I just find this to be a really fun philodendron to grow. And if you were thinking of maybe giving a new type of philodendron a go, I definitely recommend this one. So far it's been super easy for me, and yeah, it's just bringing me a lot of joy too, so maybe it would also bring you a lot of joy. If you do decide to try it, I'd love to know what your experience is. And following on from that is another philodendron. This one is Philodendron atabapoense, and I just think this also is one of the most cool but easy philodendrons. I'm really loving the leaf shape on this one. You kind of get that Spiritus Sancti look, but without the massive price tag. And also this one has kind of burgundy backs as well on the leaves. So far this one's just proving to be really easy to care for. It's just as easy as all my other philodendrons. And yeah, if you're looking for something a bit different that you don't exactly see around too much, I'd say Philodendron atabapoense is a really good choice, because with all the philodendrons around, you do see them a lot, but I think this one's just really unique and cool, and As with my Jose Buono, I will be also putting this one on a pole soon. Again, I'm just waiting for the right moment. It is kind of working on a new leaf at the moment. It's not quite through yet, but I just think this is a gorgeous plant, and yeah, I would highly recommend it. So far my experience with this one has been really good, and yeah, I'm just obsessed with philodendrons at the moment. I've definitely learned about myself over the past 12 months that philodendron is probably my most loved genus of plant, and I'm just loving kind of collecting all sorts of different philodendrons. I know some of you guys are also into philodendrons, so I don't know if you've ever tried this one, but if you're thinking about it, I definitely highly recommend it. Another plant that I could really highly recommend is the rickrack cactus, and honestly this year I think mine is taking off. This was a bit of a tiny cutting I had last year, so I've only had it for a year, and this is the, I believe, second year I'm having it now. And yeah, it just seems to be bursting into life this year. I often find that with plants that the first year they kind of take a bit of time to settle into their environment, and then on the second year they start coming into their own. But this one really is starting to grow nicely now, and now that I've had it for just over a year, I would say that this is probably one of my favourite plants, and definitely one that I would recommend, especially if you just really love fuss-free plants but you want something that's a little bit different. I got mine as a tiny cutting just because when you buy a big plant like this, they tend to be quite expensive, I find. A lot of the full kind of size ones here in the UK of this plant seem to be kind of £40 plus, so I got a couple of cuttings for £1 each and just planted them in here, and this is how they've multiplied. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting a small one if you fancy it but you don't want to pay the high price tag. I mean, it might be cheaper in other countries. I'd be really interested to know actually where in the world you are and how much kind of a decent size one of these would cost you where you are. Because here you are definitely looking at around kind of £45, I've found. They seem quite expensive, so yeah, I'm just biding my time, waiting for mine to grow, and I think this year might be the year. But yeah, if you're considering something a bit more cactusy but you don't really like the spines that cactus plants tend to have, then this one is a really awesome choice. And it's also less fussy about light because it's a jungle cactus, so it doesn't necessarily need really strong light all the time. Over the past 12 months, I've probably tested mine in a few different spots, which I know you're not really supposed to move plants around, but sometimes I move them around because I want to test how hardy they are. And well, at least I can convey to you that this one's pretty hardy. I've had it in lots of different places, lots of different conditions, and it is absolutely fine. It does like to dry out between waterings, and that's about it really. Just make sure you use a well-draining soil mix. Now, I'm definitely not one of those people that is obsessed by Hoyas, but I do have my first ever Hoya. It is the Hoya Bella, and someone very kindly gave this one to me, and yeah, it's rooted and planted up, and it's actually coming out with some little flowers. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying growing this one. It's really fun, and I have to say it's really easy to care for too. I just let it dry out basically, and then I water it when it's dry. At the moment it gets quite thirsty because I have it in a tiny little pot, just because it's still a baby, but yeah, it's just been really easy. And I did actually want this one about 12 months ago. I think I had it on my wish list, and I wasn't quite sure if I still wanted it, but honestly, now that I've got it, I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to see it grow. I think you can have one or two Hoyas in your collection. You don't have to be one of those mad for Hoyas people. It's okay to just have like one or two. You don't have to be obsessed. Unless you want to be obsessed, of course, then of course go ahead and be obsessed. But yeah, I've been umming and ahhing about trying a Hoya, and I just think this one's really pretty and elegant. And yeah, I have it in this little llama pot, and I'm just really enjoying growing it. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this one. Surprise, surprise, the next one is another philodendron. This is Philodendron Florida Green, and yeah, if you've seen this one on my channel before, you might notice that it's grown quite a bit. It does also have a new leaf there. You can see, I don't know if you can see, It's a little bit stuck, but it's not too bad, so I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it be. But honestly, I'm just obsessed with this plant, and I really want to tell other people about how cool it is and how easy it is to care for. It makes me really excited. I just absolutely adore the shape of the leaves on this one, and I'm really excited to be starting to grow this one at the beginning of spring too, because it means that I'll be able to watch it grow from this small plant and watch it grow up a support. And I believe this one is quite fast growing once it gets going. I think that's the case. That's kind of what I've heard from all the research I've done. But I just absolutely love this one. As I say, I'm obsessed with it, and I definitely want to get more people obsessed with it. I know a lot of people are into the Florida Ghost, and this one tends to get looked over because it's just green, but I got this one on purpose instead of the Florida Ghost. That doesn't mean I won't get the Florida Ghost, but the reason I chose this over the Florida Ghost to start with is just because the more green, the faster a plant grows basically, and I'm looking for something that will grow nice and fast, and so I know that this plant will. But if you're wondering whether to give this a go, I highly recommend it. Go for it. It's a really fun plant and really easy to care for too. Another plant that I'm really looking forward to growing this spring is the Peperomia Hope. I have this little baby one. I don't normally have much luck with baby plants, but this one's growing really well. Look at all those new leaves coming up. I do have this one under a grow light, and I just water it when it's dry. But if you were considering getting one of these and you wonder whether it's worth giving it a go, it definitely is. And I've definitely got over my fear of peperomias. I used to think I was really bad with them, but I think it's just because I didn't really pay enough attention to their care needs. And yeah, I've kind of got in the swing of looking after them now. I have several peperonias. This is one of them, and yeah, I can't wait to see this one get bigger. It will eventually start trailing from the pot, I think, and that's the bit I'm looking forward to. I don't know if that will happen this year. If anyone else has this plant, I'd love to know if it's a fast grower for you. So far for me, I'm not sure, because this is the first growing season I've had it. But to see those new leaves coming in, I am so excited, and I cannot wait to see this one growing. I'm just really looking forward to seeing it kind of glow up over the growing season. We'll come back to this one in 6 months, and hopefully we'll be able to see the difference. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.